This universe is only one of an infinite number. Mr. Strange. Who are you?
In this vast multiverse. Stephen Strange, your reckoning is long overdue. Strange! Only in theaters May 6th.
I'm Sanvid Vaidya.
And I'm Ashmit Kumar.
And you're listening to us, the Meta Fandom Boys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 4 of the Meta Fandom Boys podcast. I'm your host, Sanvid Vaidya, joined by my co-host, Ashmit Kumar. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, or TuneIn Radio, and very soon also on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us if you like what you're listening. You can also follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, at Meta Fandom Boys, and you can follow me, Sanvid, at Sanvid__ Vaidya, and Ashmit at Ashmit Kumar 001. Now, the very first episode that we ever put out from this podcast was us breaking down the trailer of this movie. And it only makes sense 3 months later that we give you our spoiler review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 3 long months of waiting and we finally got this movie out. And wow, I'll just say this, it blew my mind, but it also probably expected too much from this. So, Ashmit, my first question would be, according to you, was it an overhyped movie?
Definitely was overhyped because after the craze of Spider-Man No Way Home, many people were expecting like what is going to happen next. Like the first trailer of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which we had seen right in the post-credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home, gave us like some expectations as to what can happen. What can it be? Who can the MCU introduce as a variance? But while seeing the movie, it seemed like they could have done more. They could have explored more. It just didn't meet the expectations. This was what you can say the Marvel equivalent of Batman vs. Superman. Only it was a little bit more better. Like Batman vs. Superman was too much disappointing. This was still okay. This still met various expectations about which we will talk about in the rest of the episode. But if you ask my opinion, yes, it was overhyped and maybe it shouldn't have been that much. I mean, there were so many theories, so much to think about, so much to look up to. But overall, it was a good movie.
Sam Raimi delivered, in my opinion. I would say this, yes, it was overhyped. Again, I think the one issue with all these huge Marvel movies, especially when you put multiverse in the title, it's just the hype is crazy. And then you show a trailer with Professor X's voice, obviously the hype would increase. And I would say it lived up to some of it, but the rest of it was like, okay, more focused on Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff. So it was more of a Doctor Strange sequel and they just leaned into the multiverse part a little bit, even though that's the main area and the main plot as to how this movie goes forward into the MCU. But I'll say this, Sam Raimi delivered. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes, very fast paced, not a single second wasted. But I do feel that at times this movie was very fast and you have to really constantly pay attention and like to keep up with the pace of the movie. It's very much of a Rick and Morty episode because like every single second of this film is more shocking than the previous one. And you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Every single second is more scary and more shocking than the previous one. So in my opinion,
of course, this is Sam Raimi's first MCU project, so many people were looking up to, and we could see some Sam Raimi elements as well. I mean, the city of New York was given a story of its own as it is in every other Sam Raimi movie. And of course, no Sam Raimi Marvel movie can be completed without a Bruce Campbell cameo.
Exactly. Even the last end credit scene was him just breaking the fourth wall. Exactly. But in my opinion, Sam Raimi delivered. The entire opening sequence, the gap junction, the visual effects, the multiversal breaking aspect, just everything was just visually thrilling. And in my opinion, Sam Raimi did a great job as a director, but the script which Michael Waldron wrote could have been a little better in my opinion. There could have been some few things that he could have extended on. And maybe because it was a little bit fast paced, they wanted to keep the 2 hours and 6 minutes runtime. But I would have loved to see an extra hour of this film and to explore the multiverse and a few more universes, in my opinion. But then again, let's just say this is the tip of the iceberg and that they can probably explore more of multiversal storylines in the future. But in my opinion, Multiverse of Madness, yes, overhyped, but it delivered on some of the cameos which we were all expecting. But yes, there were moments where I was like, okay, you could have done a little more or a little better. So we'll dive right into spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. If you still haven't had the opportunity of watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, do yourself a favor while it's still in theaters. Go watch it.
As of today, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is now officially available to stream on Disney Plus and Disney Plus Hotstar. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it in theaters, then you might as well watch it at home. And again, it's in an IMAX enhanced ratio, so you can actually enjoy it at the comfort of your home.
Especially in IMAX 3. This is an IMAX movie. This is a 3D movie. Even if you can't watch it in IMAX, do yourself a favor and watch this in 3D, because this is a hardcore 3D movie. It has some horror elements. It's not a complete horror movie, but you will be at the edge of your seat because every single second is more shocking than the previous one. So I suggest do yourself a favor and watch this in 3D because you will be at the edge of your seat and it's a mind-blowing adventure. But we go right into spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, the cameos, okay, we'll start from the very first part of the movie. The Gap Junction, the Book of Vishanti, Defender Strange and America Chavez running through that entire portal. Everything's breaking down. The monster, the monster was actually created by Wanda. I actually thought that the Gargantos octopus was the only creature that Wanda sent behind to get America Chavez, but I did not know that the monster who was chasing Defender Strange was also sent by Wanda because it had runes on it. I mean, I watched that. I found that in the second time, but that was really clever. It's like Wanda was the villain from the very beginning. They villainized her too much. We'll talk about that in a moment. But it's like, in my opinion, I do feel they villainized her too much, even though in the comics, she's killed. She's absolutely killed. No More Mutants, House of M. We all know what she's done in the comics. But I personally feel that after her journey in WandaVision, they probably just villainized her way too much and made her a complete scary opposite of what she was in WandaVision.
But yeah, she's basically the villain. Yeah, she's basically the villain.
But getting back to the movie, the entire Gap Junction, the part where the Book of Vishanti is, and then Defender Strange realizing that he won't be able to stop the monster. He betrays America Chavez, gets his powers, and says that in the grand calculus of the multiverse, there is no other way. But the one thing I realize is that it's a common dialogue. This is the only way. There is no other way. It's like a common dialogue between every Doctor Strange in every universe. Because even in Infinity War, when Doctor Strange gave the Time Stone to Thanos, it was like there is no other way because he saw 14,605 possibilities of how they could defeat Thanos. And only one of them in their 616 universe was where they won, where Tony sacrificed himself. But it is a very common dialogue between every single universe as Doctor Strange. And that was really smart. But then the monster gets him, he kills Defender Strange, and then she opens a star-shaped portal and then gets into our 616 universe. I love that it was the entire camera panned out and it was just Doctor Strange saying dreams are windows into the lives of our multiversal selves. You know, when America Chavez said that, I was like, does that mean every single dream I've seen involving myself was something that happened to me in another universe? Because that's crazy. I don't know if it's actually real and that's just some real MCU story point, but that was really clever. Also, Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme in R616 because Strange got blipped for 5 years in Endgame. That was quick. That was smart. We're pretty much living in the Wong cinematic universe. Who called it the MCU when we can call it the WCU? But anyways, dreams are windows into the lives of our multiversal selves. I like that idea. But then again, we go to see Doctor Strange going to Christine's wedding in the opening. We realize there was this other doctor in the wedding hall who said that was there any other way where you could have defeated Thanos? And he's like, no, there was no other way. And then he's like, you might be a superhero, but you didn't get the girl. And I was like, ooh, that's a burn. That's a burn. But anyways, we see Christine get married to another doctor. And they both have this conversation where he said that you are always the one holding the knife, and you always will make sure that your duty as a hero is what comes first. And then that's when Gargantos comes. And you realize that Gargantos is actually invisible to the whole crowd until Doctor Strange puts a spell, and then then everyone in New York can see that Gargantos is actually breaking down a bus trying to find where America Chavez is. That entire opening sequence, very well directed. You can see 3 and 4 people in the crowd just running again and again and again because they are being paid for that particular shot. But it was like really fun seeing that entire opening sequence with Gargantos. That fight scene, brilliantly done. Sam Raimi, he really made sure the camera went like 360 degrees into the eyes of the octopus, and how they both fight, how America Chavez fights, how the cloak of levitation continuously was helping Strange getting wake up, like after he fainted when the octopus threw him away. That entire sequence, very well done, very well executed. And right after they defeat
monster, Wong and Strange confront America and ask her who is she, but she runs away and steals Strange's sling ring with which he creates those portals. But then Strange catches up with her anyways. The reason why she was running was obviously because Defender Strange betrayed her. But then all three of them talk in a restaurant. Strange and Wong ask her then why was the monster chasing her. And in the middle of that conversation, when America asks if he has any experiences with the multiverse, Strange mentions about the incident with Spider-Man, and obviously America doesn't know about it and finds it gross. And when she says, does he shoot webs from his butt? Strange says, I don't know, maybe. Honestly, I hope not. And although it's a joke, it proves that Strange's spell worked at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, and now he himself has forgotten, along with the rest of the world, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Obviously, I mean, just a nice continuity gesture I saw it. But anyways, after they defeat the monster,
you find out that it was actually sent by Wanda, which they find out after Strange asks for Wanda's help because it had runes on it. And I really think between WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, Wanda learned a lot about the Scarlet Witch and witchcraft as a whole by reading the Darkhold. The Darkhold completely corrupted her. They made her way too evil. I know she's been evil in the comics, but one of my complaints is that she went so evil. Like the way she killed the Illuminati. I know we'll come back to the Illuminati. We'll talk about that a little more while, but it's just that entire sequence and the attack on Kamar Taj, just brutal. Truly brutal. I think that's the entire horror aspect of it. It was violent and gruesome at the very end. It was just crazy. But anyways, when America Chavez realized, because America Chavez doesn't trust any variant of Strange, especially after Defender Strange betrayed her. And he's like, how can I trust you? And he's like, you just have to trust me in whatever I do. And then they take her to Kamar Taj. And then when he goes to Wanda's help, and Wanda, again, the WandaVision theme song played, the kids came, you realize it's, again, just a dream. She's probably dreaming of some other universe's Wanda and how she's happy with her kids. And then you see that apple orchard, she's creating apples. That's when Doctor Strange comes. They both are talking about America and what do you know about the multiverse? We need an Avengers help. And that's when she just, out of a slip of a tongue, she says, why don't you bring America here? And suddenly Strange's like, wait a minute, how do you know her name? And that's when she's like, oh, I shouldn't have told her name. And that's when she said that the hex was the easy part, the lying, not so much. And then that entire apple orchard was just pure red, dead forest. It was just like a dead forest. She was reading and making all these spells through the Darkhold, and she realizes that obviously Doctor Strange knows what the Darkhold is. And she says that, like, if you don't give me America Chavez by sundown, then it won't be Wanda who comes after her. It will be the Scarlet Witch. That's when you realize shit just hit the roof. It's crazy. That's when you realize, oh my God, this entire story took a 180-degree turn. It's amazing. And that's when the entire attack of Kamar Taj scene, my God, that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. The way Wanda just came out and then Doctor Strange tried to calm her down, and she's like, if you give me the girl, I will send you to a universe where you can be with Christine. And he's like, nope, not today. And she tries to attack the Kamar Taj, but the Kamar Taj defenses are up, and all the sorcerers from the Hong Kong Sanctum and the London Sanctum come together and help protect the entire Kamataj. But the best part about Wanda, she can get into people's heads. We saw that in WandaVision. We saw that in Age of Ultron, because that's where every single Avenger saw their vision on what was going to happen in the future, especially Tony's vision with every single Avenger dying and him not sacrificing himself. So she gets into the heads of one of those sorcerers, and that entire sequence where she's like, run, and everyone, and one person starts running and the entire formation breaks, and then she attacks the whole place. It's crazy. It's brutal. The way people died in that scene, I was like, oh my God, this is where it becomes a horror movie. And that's when she gets into the Kamataj, and that's when Doctor Strange, like, if you want to get her, you'll have to go through me. And that's when he opens the entire mirror dimension, and she tries to get through the mirror dimension, but she uses reflections and the water to get outside the entire mirror dimension sequence. Very scary, very, very scary. The way she came out of that particular bell, because it had some water on it, like a really scary witch from that movie called The Rings. There's this movie called The Rings, right from a horror movie. The way she came out, very, very scary. I was like, oh my God, this is where it becomes a horror movie. And the way she justifies herself, that I'm just trying to find my kids. You sacrifice all of those sorcerers just for me to get my kids. And I'm like, no wonder that's where you become completely evil. And you realize that the Darkhold actually can connect you to different universes, but you can't actually go into that universe unless you dreamwalk. So you can see what every other universe's Wanda and every other universe's Billy Maximoff and Tommy look like, and how they are living their lives, but you can't physically take your body into that universe unless you are with America or dreamwalking through another variant of yours. So that entire sequence where she shows through the book every single universe where she gets a happy ending, but the one universe where she doesn't, and she's ready to break every other universe just to get her happy ending, is crazy. And that's when they fight, and then America opens a portal out of pure fear. And that entire scene where she travels, where they break into every single universe, very amazing. Like, that was visually thrilling. One of those scenes was also animated, and like they break into different universes, and just like one of them is paint, and they just break through universes until they reach Earth 838.
So I noticed 9 universes out of the entire trip from Earth 616 to Earth 838, all the universes that Doctor Strange in America passed through. Those 9 universes were, number 1, the Living Tribunal statue world. I saw the Living Tribunal. We also had a small Easter egg with the Living Tribunal's head in Loki episode 5 when they go to the void. So the first universe was the Living Tribunal statue world. The second one was a honeycomb world. The third one was an underwater world. The fourth one was an alternate universe's New York. I don't know which Earth that was, but that was an alternate New York. Number 5 was a pipe world. Actually noticed a Stark drone from Spider-Man Far From Home, a Stark drone in that pipe world dimension. I could be wrong, but it looked exactly like one of those Stark drones which we saw in Spider-Man Far From Home. I could be wrong, but those were the drones which Mysterio used to create his illusions, and Spider-Man had to fight all of them at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. But yeah, I can guarantee you, I think it was one of those drones. I could be wrong, but it exactly looked like one of those drones from Spider-Man Far From Home. Number 6 was a Hydra world. I don't know if it was called a Hydra world, but it kind of looked like one, so I just gave it the name Hydra world. 7th is Savage Land. I saw some dinosaurs, and Savage Land is the one land in the Marvel Comics and now also in the MCU where a lot of dinosaurs exist, and even dinosaur breeds that didn't actually exist in our Earth universe. 8th was Cube World, and 9th was a comic book world. I told you there was a little bit of an animated stuff. I think it's a comic book world, maybe it's an animated world. Was it in any way, shape or form connected to What If? I guess we'll never know.
Which is the main universe where we also get all our cameos. That entire sequence was just visually done amazing. And then they both find out where what happened in that universe of Earth 838. They visit the entire city. I realize Earth 838 is very futuristic, and I'm assuming that's because of John Krasinski's Reed Richards. Very futuristic. That entire scene where you can see what happened in your memories, that memory bank thing. again, very smart. I realized that this entire universe is futuristic because of either Tony Stark or Reed Richards, smartest man alive. Huh. Oh, if
I don't
only we
suppose
knew.
there is any Tony Stark in that universe because there has been no mention of it. So the smartest man in that guy is still Reed Richards.
Yeah, yeah. Smartest man is still Reed Richards. I really wish I was actually hoping for a Tom Cruise cameo, but I was a little disappointed when we didn't. But anyways, we'll come back to that later. But that entire memory bank sequence where we see Strange's most positive memory is Christine giving him that broken watch which he broke in the first movie, and America's story, because America Chavez in the comics comes from the utopian parallel where it's like a very futuristic place somewhere in the multiverse, a utopian parallel where she has two mothers, and she was actually very young when she first opened her portal, and out of pure fear when she opened the portal, her parents, both her parents got sucked into that portal, and she just also got sucked into that portal, but both of her parents and her went into different universes, and she thinks that her parents are dead, but her parents, I'm assuming, are somewhere alive if they ever do a America Chavez story again in the future. I think her parents are alive, but in some other universe. But anyways, coming back to that entire memory bank, they go to the Avengers Sanctum, and you realize there's a statue for Doctor Strange where he said that he sacrificed himself for Thanos. Like, how did he actually sacrifice himself? And we realized it was all a lie further in the movie. But when we go in, we realize that Mordo is now the Sorcerer Supreme because obviously Strange is dead. And first, again, we didn't see 616 Mordo. We realized, I actually found out later that 616 Mordo actually was in the movie, but that was a deleted scene where he actually approaches Wanda and says that the world has too many sorcerers, and he actually comes to kill Wanda, but Wanda kills him first. There was actually a deleted scene, and also a small mention of it is in the official poster of the movie. But anyways, coming back to Earth 838's Mordo, very different hairstyle. You see him welcome Strange and Chavez inside Sanctum, and they talk about how the Darkhold has this one spell of dream walking, which he can possess the body of her Earth 838 variant using that spell, and that Earth 838 variant can then come in search for America. And that entire dream walking idea of it, very smart. That was one of the points of the script where I was like, that's really cool and that's really scary, because the Wanda which comes is actually Earth 616 but in the body of Earth 838, even though it's both Elizabeth Olsen only. But still, we get to see how Mordo is trying to calm America Chavez and Doctor Strange down. But then again, a plot twist. Both of them fall unconscious because in their universe, Doctor Strange broke the timeline and like opened incursion universes by dream walking into every other version of his, into every other universe. And that incursion, we'll talk more about that incursion, but we realize that both of them fall unconscious.
Just before becoming unconscious, Strange sees and realizes that Mordo gave him and America the sands of Nishanti, by which they became unconscious.
They both wake up in these glass doors, You see Earth 838's Christine Palmer, who actually volunteered at the Baxter Foundation and is now working with Reed Richards and working with the Illuminati. And when they both wake up, they realize that entire polymorphic glass can't be broken.
Earth 838 Christine also says that this universe is Earth 838 and the universe from which Strange and America come from is Earth 616. But if I'm not wrong, the Marvel Comics acknowledge the fact that the MCU exists and that the MCU universe is Earth 19999. But looks like Kevin Feige changed that because I think the MCU and the comics are again two different universes, but Kevin Feige wants to merge both of them and call that Earth 616. But here's the thing. According to the comics is Earth 616 and the MCU should be Earth 1999. But then again, that debate is something you can have only with Kevin Feige. So I guess we are 616 now. Yeah.
And then Strange is taken to one of my most favorite scenes in the film, to the Illuminati. That's where our cameos come. That's where it all becomes super exciting. And everyone in my theater like lost it. Even though not a lot of people were there in my IMAX 3D screening, people truly lost it. Carl Mordo's like, Stephen Strange, the Illuminati will see you now. And again, this is Earth 838 is a universe where the Ultron program worked, which means Vision was never created in the first place. Which makes you wonder, how did Earth 838's Wanda get her happy ending and get her kids? because there is no vision in this universe because the Ultron program worked. Makes you realize, wait, if there is no vision in this universe, how did Earth 838 want to get her happy ending and her kids? Because again, she created them in every universe. But anyways, coming back to the Illuminati scene, we get Captain Carter from What If, because the way that Shield came in, I was like, oh my God, wow, it's really happening. We get Black Bolt, Anson Mount from the Inhumans show. By the way, the Inhumans show wasn't really that good, but like it didn't have like lots of good reviews, and like it was not a great show in my opinion. I tried watching it, but I got bored very early on. But Anson Mount played Black Bolt in that show. And I think Kevin Feige called him for like, you know what, you can come back as Black Bolt for this one tiny little cameo scene. But the best part was giving him a comic accurate suit. The Black Bolt suit with the thong on top of his head, perfect comic accuracy. Then again, we talked about this in the first episode. We wanted it to be Superior Iron Man, but it was actually Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel. She's also a part of the Illuminati. And my most favorite cameo from the entire movie, John Krasinski as Reed Richards. Wow. People were fan casting on Twitter. People were going crazy. There were people like Boss Logic trying to put John Krasinski's photo from one of his movies called 13 Hours and putting it into a fan-based Fantastic Four costume to show how he would actually look in the MCU. And he looked freaking amazing, might I add. The suit, not that much. In my opinion, the 2005 Fantastic Four movie had a better suit. But okay, maybe Earth 838 has a different sense of fashion.
Also, after Mordo said, the smartest man alive, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, he actually came through this portal thingy and landed into the Illuminati headquarters. I think, if I'm not wrong, that's actually from the comics, and that's actually a device used by Doctor Doom. I can't remember the name of it, but I think that is a device used by Doctor Doom. I think it's called Doctor Doom's time platform. Yeah, that was Doctor Doom's time platform. Yeah, that was Doctor Doom's time platform. But anyways, when John Krasinski says, hello, Stephen, Stephen Strange is like, Fantastic Four? Wait, didn't you guys chart in the 60s? And he just smiles as if even in their 60s, there was a band called Fantastic Four. I don't know if that's real, but like that was a funny moment.
And then the most fan favorite, the one cameo we heard in the trailer, Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart. Once again, in the X-Men 90s comics yellow hovering chair, I don't think that chair was hovering, but like it looked really cool. Anyways, they explain that their Doctor Strange didn't actually die sacrificing himself for Thanos. And then you get to see this backstory, this going back on Titan, where Thanos is actually dead by some sword of his own. And they explain that because of his reckless use of the Darkhold, Earth 838 Strange triggered a universe-destroying incursion, which means that every single universe where he dreamwalked into his other variant of that universe is in a crash course collision, which means every single universe might collide sometime in the future.
But in the words of John Krasinski's Reed Richards, an incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both universes entirely.
And that, in the Marvel comics, has led to one of Marvel's biggest events called Secret Wars. And I can guarantee you it's happening someday in the future, probably in Avengers 5 back in probably in 2027. But anyways, we go back to that entire description where Patrick Stewart tells him that that's how he died, and they were forced to kill him because they knew that now that he's created a universe-destroying incursion, he's even more dangerous because he used the Darkhold to get through every single variant of his. And again, the Illuminati realized that the Illuminati was created by Earth 838 Strange to make these tough decisions and tough calls. In the comics also, they've been created by Strange and Tony Stark, and it was a combined decision to make an entire entity which decides on these tough decisions. But in Earth 838, it was Strange himself. And they make that tough decision of killing him so that he doesn't cause any more harm. And that's why Black Bolt kills him by just using his voice. And that's when he dies. And that's exactly why they don't trust any other universe's Doctor Strange, because of the fact that because Earth 838 Strange might have dreamwalked using their body. So like that, I loved that entire backstory because I was like, oh my God, this is even bigger than I thought. But anyways, coming back to that point, Strange tries to tell them that, oh, come on, none of this is ever going to happen. I'm just trying to get to the Vishanti because I know that I can't get the Darkhold. I just need to get to the Vishanti.
Also, bro, I just realized one of the few reasons why the Illuminati was able to kill Thanos was because Star-Lord's dumb ass wasn't there to screw their plan up, or like he did in Earth 616. But anyways, the real reason that the Illuminati were able to defeat Thanos was by using the Book of Vishanti, which Earth 838 Strange was able to locate and get his hands on in the middle of all the dream walking that he did in every other universe, which caused an incursion. Which is why after they killed Thanos, they had to make sure that Strange doesn't do any other incursion or dreamwalk in any other universe. That is why they had to kill him, and that is why Black Bolt said I'm sorry so loudly that he just died on the spot. Also, I love that after Professor X narrates the entire backstory of how his universe's Strange died, our universe's Strange is like, you think I'm a bigger threat than the Scarlet Witch? And Maria Rambo's Captain Marvel is like, oh, we'll handle your dream walking little Scarlet Witch. And I'm like, spoiler alert, you couldn't, and you ended up giving your life for it.
And that's when Wanda comes. That's when Wanda takes the body of her Earth 838 counterpart. One of the sorcerers at the Kamarthat sacrifices herself in destroying the book. And that's when Wanda takes Wong and tells him if there is any other way, and almost threatens him, to be fair. And Wong tells him about Mount Wundagore, where Chthon originally created the Darkhold. And that's when he opens a portal using the sling ring, and they get to Mount Wundagore and realize that it's actually a Scarlet Witch throne room, because probably Chthon foreshadowed that the Scarlet Witch was going to be born and she will need a throne. And that is why the throne is at the top of Mount Wundagore.
Because, again, the Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation. She was born either to rule the cosmos or annihilate it. There are also statues of Wanda and her kids, Billy and Tommy, engraved on the throne of Mount Wundagore, including Chthon's statue, which means that it was always destined for her to come to that mountain and rule. Earth 616 Wanda just wants her kids back. She doesn't want to rule the cosmos, doesn't want to annihilate it. She wants to rule the multiverse though, because she wants to have the most amount of control over it. She feels that if anything happens to her kids, if she gets it from another universe, she wants to have the ability to move to any other universe to find the cure for her kids, which I don't think is justifiable. But then again, that's what Earth 616 Wanda wants.
She restarts her spell from Mount Wundagore after the book is destroyed. She gets her Earth 838 self to come to the Illuminati headquarters. She destroys all the Ultrons, all of them, every single one of those Ultrons. Amazing. It's scary. That's when the scary part of the movie starts really kicking in. And when the Illuminati comes and John Krasinski's like, I understand your pain, Wanda. I have kids of my own. And she asks, do those kids have a mother? And he's like, yes. Good. At least they'll have someone to raise them. And that's when you realize Wanda really means business and she's gonna kill. My biggest complaint with the movie, the Illuminati could have at least put up a fight. They were trying to calm Wanda down, but she had already been on a killing rampage. She was gonna kill.
Because they underestimated Wanda's power. Like, this is like the most, probably the most powerful variant of Scarlet Witch. So, like, it's not like in that universe, Wanda is just like a simple single mother. While in Earth 616, she is like something else. So they underestimated. They thought, okay, maybe if we talk her down, maybe she will calm down that way.
Exactly. And because you can really see John Krasinski's Reed Richards was really trying to calm her down because he knew that's why he slipped up the fact that one word from Black Bolt's mouth could actually kill you. He was just trying to warn Wanda, but he didn't know that Wanda was absolutely gonna kill. And that's when she's like, what mouth? And you see Black Bolt's mouth is completely shut down. That's a scene from The Matrix, by the way. Keanu Reeves' character did that in the movie, where his mouth completely got shut down and he couldn't talk. And Black Bolt tries to scream.
In that scene, just as Reed Richards is saying that Black Bolt can easily kill you with a whisper's mouth, his fork is starting to light up, which means he is ready to speak. So at that moment, like when Wanda shuts his mouth, he can't do anything else.
Exactly.
He already had that speech, like he already had it ready.
He already had it ready, and he spoke, and it just reverberated into his brain, and it just put a hole in his brain. And the way the blood came out of his eyes, they still wanted to keep it PG-13, but it could have easily been R-rated. That death was brutal. And that's when Krasinski tries to pull her down, and then she just turns him into spaghetti. She literally turned John Krasinski into spaghetti. I screamed in the theater because I was like,
John Krasinski as Reed Richards for so long, and we got just a few minutes of him. Like
just a few minutes, like barely few minutes, and I was like, what the hell? And so the only two people who did put up a fight was Captain Carter and Captain Marvel, and those deaths were brutal as well, because like Captain Carter just got sliced by her own shield. The way she just said, I could do this all day, and in the next 5 minutes she got killed. Oh my God. Absolute madness. Maybe that's what they meant by Multiverse of Madness. Oh my God. But even I did not understand the way Captain Marvel died. She actually had the power to destroy, and they just killed her off very easy, I feel. She could have actually put up a fight, and she did, but then Wanda crushed her under her own statue. Come on. I don't think she could have died that easy. But again, that's what the movie wanted us to believe. So I was like, fine, fair enough. But Professor X's death, oh my God. I love how Professor X, when all the other Illuminati members are fighting, he actually trusted our Earth 616 Strange and said that just because a person is lost, just because a person stumbles doesn't mean he's lost. That's an exact dialogue from X-Men Days of Future Past. The exact same dialogue, he said it in this again. I loved the fact that he said that exact same dialogue. Very smart of putting that in the script. Very, very smart. And he actually holds off Wanda until America and Christine can escape. But the way Professor X died, oh my God. Like inside Wanda's mind, he was wearing that Steve Jobs black jumper, and he tried to wake Earth 838's Wanda. But 616 Wanda just came up from behind, and like the scary zombie version of Wanda just came and twisted his head, and the way he died, oh my God. So it was painful to see that. It was painful, really painful. And when Wanda was chasing America, Strange and Christine through the tunnels under the Illuminati headquarters, oh my God, that was pure Sam Raimi horror from Evil Dead. The way she was chasing with red eyes and blood in a blood-covered face, the way she was walking, limping rather, to get Strange and Christine. Oh my God. And when they find out the doorway to the Gap Junction where the Book of Vishanti is, you realize that it was actually that Earth 838 Strange used the watch that Christine gave him because he loved her as much as 616 Strange did. But he used that watch as the key to open the door to the Gap Junction where the Book of Vishanti was. And they get to the Book of Vishanti, they almost get it, Strange almost picks it up from the handle, reads it, but that's when Earth 838 Wanda comes in. She just destroys, she uses, gives a vision to America Chavez's brain, using her powers to open the multiverse, puts Christine and Strange into an incursion-destroyed universe, and opens the 616 universe where she can throw America Chavez and take her powers. Oh my God, what a scene. Very scary. And I was like, oh my God, this is what scary Wanda looks like. But wow, truly wow. And then the third act where the incursion destroyed universe is Strange. Both Strange talk about a sister which they both had, Donna, which died early on, and that's one of the many reasons Strange realized that he wanted to save lives, and that's why he became a neurosurgeon. I loved that scene. I was like, was that ever in the Doctor Strange comics? Because I didn't remember it. But anyways, he talked to that incursion destroyed universe as Strange. Now, that version of Strange was corrupted by the Darkhold. And the way he says, if you ever felt being pushed to a cliff, that was probably me dreamwalking into your soul and trying to kill you. So this version of Strange also wanted every other multiverse of his version to die. And that's when they have that music battle with all the musical chords fighting between each other. That scene, visually thrilling. I still want to question, did we really need a scene like that? Like they could have just fought with their powers, But the fact that they chose music to do so because they had pianos and guitars and stuff like that lying around, very smart, very, very smart. Danny Elfman composed the entire scene and the entire movie. Very, very smartly done. The entire scene where he uses those musical chords, and he uses purple magic because he's been corrupted by the Darkhold. It's yellow magic versus purple magic. Very well done. And then he's able to throw him off the building. That version Strange dies when he falls on top of the one of the sharp pointy things on the gate of the sanctum, and he dies. And again, that Strange had a third eye, and you were like, wait a minute, how did he get his third eye? And that's when our Strange gets a hold of that particular universe's Darkhold, and he realizes that now that the Book of Vishanti has been destroyed by Wanda, he has to now corrupt himself by using the Darkhold to fight Wanda, because there was literally no other way. So he uses that universe, that Incursion destroyed universe's Strange's Darkhold, reads it, uses some spells, and realizes that the only way you can get into Earth 616 without America Chavez is by dream walking the way Wanda did. So he dream walks, knowing that there is no other variant of his in 616 now that he is in the Incursion destroyed universe. So he breaks the rule, and the corpse of Defender Strange, which he had dug somewhere on the top of a building in Earth 616, he uses that body to dream walk and breaks the rule, because there's a rule that if you use the dead body or a dead body of a variant of yours to dream walk, then the souls of the damned will come after you and kill you or destroy you. So the souls of the damned come in, and they come towards the Earth 616's dream walking version of Defender Strange. But Defender Strange uses every single one of those damned souls, absorbs it, and uses it as a way to fly towards Mount Wundagore to stop Wanda. Again, Earth 616 Strange was already breaking the rules. All those damned souls were fighting, but then Christine Palmer uses some of the stuff lying in that Sanctum Sanctorum and destroys and kills all those damned souls so that our Strange can continue on his spell. And that zombie Defender Strange, we all thought we'll actually see a zombie Strange, another variant. But again, it was just the dead Defender Strange who was in a zombie form, obviously. So again, they get to Mount Wundagore. They realize that Wong was pushed off the cliff, but he survived because he had one of his slingy ring. He was hanging for life on the mountain, and Strange saves him. And the four giants who were guarding Wanda's spell and who were guarding the entire Mount Wundagore fortress or mountain, Strange kills all of them using the damned souls, and then puts the damned souls on top of Wanda so that Wanda can get distracted. And he tries to tell Chavez that you can control your powers if you use your fear to your advantage. And he encourages Chavez to use her abilities, and she realizes that she now knows how she can fight Wanda. So she tries fighting Wanda, but Wanda, again, she's super strong. So America realizes that the only way she can stop Wanda is by showing a universe where her kids are afraid of her because she's not their mom, and that their mom's version is Earth 838's Wanda. So she opens the star portal. You get to see her. She sees the Earth 838 Wanda and her kids, and she tries to say hello to her kids, but her kids are afraid of her because she's dressed in the entire Scarlet Witch attire and she's scary. And the kids try to throw toys on her, but she gets angry, and then she gets into a mental breakdown. Again, Elizabeth Olsen, ladies and gentlemen, she is an acting tour de force. I loved her performance in WandaVision, but oh my God, such an amazing job on this movie. She's brilliant. Like, I hope she gets more acting roles. I hope she gets in more MCU movies, because wow, I hope we get to see a variant of her story, because the way this movie ends. But I just love Elizabeth Olsen's performance. She's just amazing. The whole of Twitter
There's
loves
this
her.
controversy with a few friends of mine, and we're arguing. Do you think Wanda is dead?
That's the thing. I was just coming to that part. I don't think Wanda is dead. When she sacrifices herself after she realizes that her kids will be loved in every universe, but their universe is Wanda, I think she's not dead because she sacrifices herself. She gets the entire mountain to fall on top of her. She destroys the entire fortress, and she destroys the Darkhold in every other universe where it exists. I don't think she's not dead. I can guarantee.
Nah, she's dead.
She's not dead. She probably sacrificed herself and got into some other universe, but she's not dead. She is not dead. I know that for a fact. And that's where America realizes that she can get her powers, and she takes her and Wong back to the sanctum. And Strange and Christine Palmer from Earth 838 realize that they have now saved America. And that's when Strange says, I love you in every universe. I like that dialogue. But again, in the comics, Christine and Strange, they never got together, in my opinion. I think the only thing that happened was Strange getting married to Clea, but that's the post-credit scene. We'll get to that. But I don't think Strange and Christine ever worked in any universe because of the fact that Strange will always be an Avenger fighting dark enemies from dark dimensions and using strange powers. He'll constantly be
If there are infinite realities, then there may be one reality where they are together, they are married, they have children, and one reality where they don't even know each other.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, the way Sinister Strange said that he wanted to kill every version of his in every other universe, I think that particular Strange must have searched for a universe where him and Christine got a happy ending, and he probably didn't find it, in my opinion. I think that's because in every universe, him and Christine probably don't work. They probably never get married or have that happy ending. I really hope there is one. But as far as the movie did, I think the movie says that I don't think there's any universe where they ever worked. But anyways, that's when he says, I love you in every universe. And because again, 616 Strange didn't tell that Earth 838 Christine how his Strange died. Because again, she would be heartbroken if she found out that the Illuminati killed them and he sacrificed himself so that he doesn't cause any more damage to any other universe. But anyways, they both get back to their universes. America Chavez gets back at the Kamar Taj repaired and surviving sorcerers, and Strange bows before Wong because at least he's the Sorcerer Supreme. And even I love that this is one universe where Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme because he blipped for 5 years in Endgame. And I love Wong getting that importance because we are very much living in the Wong cinematic universe. He's confirmed to appear in the She-Hulk series. He appeared in Shang-Chi, and he's going to appear in a lot more movies and shows, probably more than Benedict Cumberbatch. So I love Benedict Wong's acting in every single show. He's getting a cameo. That's really nice. But anyways, the movie ends with Strange fixing the watch, which Christine gave him, and then going out. I was actually expecting a dark, really scary ending, but they went with a safe ending with Strange just developing a third eye, and that's when the movie ends. And I was like, it could have been a little more darker. But that's when the mid-credit scene happens. Charlize Theron. Wow. Charlize Theron, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I never imagined she would ever play Clea. The costume was good. That costume was good. I was like, wow. But that costume was really good. And the way she said, you created another incursion. And then she opens she slices through a particular page of reality. And she says, I need your help to stop that incursion unless you're too afraid. And then he gets the cloak of levitation and gets that third eye. The third eye looks kind of weird on him. I'm not going to lie. That third eye, I don't know what its implication is. That's probably as a result of using the Darkhold.
It was probably a last minute addition to so the CGI is not that good.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of changes made.
Yeah, there were a lot of changes made to this movie. They did a lot of reshoots also for this movie. The thing is, Sam Raimi did say that the movie was 40 minutes longer, but they cut out a lot of things. I would have loved to see what those extra 40 minutes were, but they cut out a lot of things. They had to reshoot it a lot. But anyways, it was an okay movie. There was potential. There was potential of making it somewhat bigger. In my opinion, I thought it was going to be bigger than No Way Home. But anyways, I'm happy with what we got. It was a Doctor Strange sequel, more focused on Strange and Wanda's story. But this is also very much Elizabeth Olsen's story. This is very much Wanda turning completely evil, realizing the extent of her powers and realizing how much the Darkhold has corrupted her, how much she has become a monster, the one thing she truly hated about herself. And Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Cumberbatch, brilliant performance. Again, this is very much a Wanda's movie as much as it is Doctor Strange. A huge round of applause for Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Cumberbatch. Amazing, amazing performance. And America Chavez, Xochitl Gomez, it was a first acting role, nailed it as well. I think her role was more of a tool. Like without her, the entire idea of traveling the multiverse wouldn't have happened. Like she was important to the movie's plot, more important. And that's why you get to see Strange has become like a father figure, even for Peter Parker. He was in No Way Home, and now for America Chavez. He's become kind of an anchor for the MCU. Kevin Feige is out here literally telling every interviewer that Doctor Strange is the future, Benedict Cumberbatch is the future, he's the next Tony Stark. I'm like, okay, fine. There is only one Tony Stark. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this was our spoiler review and breakdown of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Is there anything you would like to add, Ashmit?
All I would say is that if you still haven't watched it, please do watch it. It may not be like something which lived to the overhype of Marvel fans, but it's still a worthwhile watch because it's a Marvel movie and because it has one of my favorite superheroes, Doctor Strange.
Yes. Where would you put it in your MCU ranking, Ashmit? Top 10? Top 15?
So certainly the top 10 or like there are movies which I did not find good at all. There were movies which I found good, and there were movies which I found like, oh my god. But so Doctor Strange certainly wouldn't fall in the oh my god category. It would fall into the good category since it showed Wanda as a villain. It brought in new cameos. It brought in like what can I say? It's a sequel of Doctor Strange first of all, so that's on the good ranking. So yeah, I would like place it on a top 10 definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a top 10 movie for me. Definitely not top 5, but it's a great sequel. And we'll probably look back on this movie once there are more multiversal movies. For example, if they ever do Secret Wars, because we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we have Loki season 2. Loki season 2 will go heavily into the multiverse aspect of it all because of Kang. So
I mean, that is the only show that has been confirmed for season 2 yet, and it was like immediately like request for season 2. Like after the final episode, it was announced Loki will come back. It has not been done for any of the other shows.
yeah, it has not been done yet for any of the other shows. I really wish they could, but Loki has a future, and the whole world loves Tom Hiddleston's character, no matter how many times he dies. So then again, it's for the fans. So Kevin Feige keeps delivering on that aspect. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 4 of the Meta Fandom Boys. And thank you so much if you liked our Multiverse of Madness spoiler breakdown. We will come back to you for episode 5 very soon. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good day. Bye.